And we trust that. Hello, how's everyone doing? All right, we are live. And Miss Shorty Pants over here you need to move forward and stand on something.
We're trying to adjust the screen so we both fit and don't chop our heads off or are up to here.
Yeah.
Oh.
But that's just the way it's gonna go.
That's right. That's right. We got this.
I saw a couple cute comments as we were waiting for everything to get started here today. Someone said, "I actually remembered what time it was." I thought that was cute.
We did too, which is a good thing.
Oh, hi, Lori. Lori says it's her first time here.
Oh, well,
hello. Congratulations. I don't know why I was saying congrats. Welcome.
Yeah.
We're glad you're here and you have found us. We've got Tennessee in the house. Awesome. Germany. How cool.
That is cool.
Hi, Sigrid from Germany.
So, Lori and all the new people, do they need a little tip on what to do to get involved in the drawing that we...
Well, I saw their name.
Oh, you did?
So they're good.
All right.
So what Annie's referring to is we use a service called StreamYard for our live streaming. And we do like to do live giveaways, which we do have one for you today. Yesterday, by the way, I messed up. I hit the end button before I did the giveaway, but luckily I hadn't closed out of our streaming service. So I was able to pick a winner based on all the true comments. And Marie Schrader won. I did post that video, but whoops, you guys are gonna have to remind me so I don't do that today. Hopefully I have learned my lesson. But anyways, if you do want to participate in the giveaway and allow us to see your comments and your name, make sure to go to streamyard.com/Facebook. And then you're just gonna select like 2 different things and hit a button. And it'll make sure that it basically gives permission to StreamYard to view your name and comment. So that's what she's referring to. And I see a lot of names in here. So
that's good.
Looks like a lot of you've done it. You only ever have to do it once too, which is nice. You don't have to do it every single time.
That is nice.
So, okay. I love it. Keep the comments coming fast and furious. We've got Canada. We've got Germany. We've got Idaho, Indiana, Florida, Detroit. Woo! Detroit, I'm a Lions fan. They're having a good year too.
They are having a good year, man.
Okay, well, what are we working on today?
Well, today we are going to take the block that we did yesterday along with all the other blocks that I already did, and I'm going to trim the block I did yesterday. We are going to learn how to pin the correct way. We are going to talk about pressing or sewing the block together, pressing, and then adding the backing. Sounds like a lot. I'm not actually going to be sewing, so it'll help speed things along, but it's going to be neat. And hopefully I'll offer you some tips that maybe you haven't heard before, and that can be helpful for you.
We got Australia too, and another Lions fan. So I think we have 4 countries that I've seen represented on today's live. How cool.
That is very cool.
Okay, well, I think I'm going to switch the camera view and let you show them how to do this.
All right, sounds like a plan. So here we have, I can't really get it all in, so I'll just kind of move it around. There we go. So here you can see the completed one, our completed sample that we showed you yesterday, and all sewn together. The backing is just a 1-piece backing on it. And this is the separate individual blocks from the next sample that I have made. This top section here is already totally complete. So we're just going to set that aside for now. But I have it laid out, and I have it laid out basically based on the file names in page 26. And we'll go over that in just a moment, not right now, but basically laid out exactly like it shows on page 26 of your instructions. But what I want to do first is that since this part, I'm going to set it aside. I'm going to set the Christmas section aside. And these 2 pieces, they are all trimmed. As you can see, this is what it looks like when it's trimmed on the back side. And again, after it's all sewn together, we're going to add a 1-piece backing. So this is our battleizer that we can see. And you can see how any piece on the edge is going to be trimmed through all the layers. And any side of your block that is going to be sewn to another block you're going to get that battleizer out of the seam by using our trimmer by George. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do right now. So here is our block. I don't remember if this is yesterday's block or what, but okay. But basically what we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to go, okay, is there a side of this that is going to have binding sewn to it? That is our outside edge. And the answer is yes. And it is this side over here. So we are going to take this, and I'm going to turn it because I'm right-handed. And I'm going to take my trimmer by George, and I'm using the ruler side of it. I'm going to find my 1/4 inch mark, and I'm going to line it right up to that basting stitch that's there. Now this is super dark fabric, and I'm just going to give you this little tip in case you ever run into this problem. It's very difficult to see the black lines on darker fabric. So flip it over. And then this is the side, that's the outside edge. We're going to line our 1/4 inch mark up with that basting stitch and have it a 1/4 inch away. And we are going to trim it through all layers. But then the other 3 sides will be sewn to another block. So that's where we're going to use our trimmer by George with the metal edge side. This is our trimmer by George, and as you can see, it has like an L-shaped piece here. That's a metal edge. This metal edge is what you're going to slide between your battleizer and your fabric on the front, and you're just going to shimmy it in there. Maybe give a gentle tug on your battleizer, not too much. If you do it too much, you'll end up pulling that fabric out, and the fabric is what that metal edge is supposed to protect. So I always just do a visual. I don't see any fabric peeking out. And then I'm going to take my rotary cutter, and I'll use that metal edge as my edge to cut with my rotary cutter. And as you can see, there we go. So all that would have been in the seams had you left it there is now gone. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other 2 sides. I'm going to shimmy that metal edge in there, do a gentle tug, and then use your rotary cutter to trim that away. And I will also tell you and remind you that, and it says right on here, 60 millimeter rotary cutter is required to do this. And the reason is because your ruler is going to be lifted up off of the cutting table.
When you show
I
wanted to make sure they could see what you're saying when you
She's giving me little directions off the corner. I'm trying to figure out what she means. Okay.
There you go.
All right. Left is right and right is left. So basically this lifts the ruler up a little bit, and the 45 would not be high enough rotary cutter in order to use that. So I'm going to then do the final side, pull the fabric back, shimmy that metal edge in there, and then gentle tug. Make sure there's no fabric peeking out, and then use my 60 millimeter rotary cutter to cut that. And then the final steps that you would do is the fabric on the front then needs to be trimmed a 1/4 inch. So I'm going to use the ruler side of my trimmer by George. And again, if it's difficult to see, you can always flip it over to the other side. Oh, we might have to run that again. Hold on here.
You need a new blade.
Maybe, I probably do. Okay, so that side's ready to go. Now we'll trim this side a 1/4 inch by laying the 1/4 inch mark from the rotary cutter or the ruler right on the basting stitch. I think this side might need a little trim. So now it is all trimmed up and ready to go to be put into your quilt. Let me throw my scraps away.
As someone asked about you said you referred to page 27 on the instructions.
Yes.
And they asked where to find those. So just so everyone knows, the instructions come with the design. So it'll be within the USB if you order it that way, or it'll come with the download. So it'll come in when you get the files with your order.
Can we bring up page
Yes.
26? We'll just talk about that now. Page 26 is basically talks you through what I just did for you, is that you can see in the diagram, you see some red lines that separate the blocks, and you see a blue line around the border. And basically where you see the blue line, those are the outside edges that you'll trim through all the layers, 1/4 of an inch from the basting stitch through all the layers. And then the red is where you're going to use the Trimmer by George, the metal edge, to remove the bulk from the seams and trim that battleizer right up to the basting stitch. And there's also a QR code that's right there, just in case you get into the project and you like, I really can't remember how she used it or what I'm supposed to do. But that QR code, if you just point your camera at it, it'll have a link that pops up, and you just touch the link and it'll take you to a very it's just well done video that tells you a lot and gives you a lot of good information on how to trim your blocks.
And in person, it's not this little. So it's difficult to see on the screen, but when you actually get your files,
Yeah,
you'll
that
be able
looks
to
like
read it.
a font size 0.25. So what we're going to do now is I have the top section sewn together. So we're going to talk about sewing that together. So let's talk about pinning. And I want to mention match points. So you can see here, these two blocks should be sewn together. We need to take our pin and we need to find our match points. So our match points, and where these two are, there's always going to be corners, will always be your match points. And you'll understand this, what I mean by that in a minute. And also where these satin stitches are, our match points. This is where we want them to match perfectly when we sew them. So we're going to pin it in a special way. So you're just going to take it and put the right sides together. Let me grab my pins. And the first match point we're going to find would be the match point in the corner on the top block. And then you're going to find the match point that's in the corner of the other block. So I have both of those lined up. And I'm going to put my pin through it. But I'm going to stop right there. Hopefully you can see that the pin is just sticking straight through. I have not taken my pin and then gone back through, because if you do that, then it tends to take those two blocks and shift them a little bit. So here's your tip. This is going to be called an anchor pin. We find our match point, we put the pin through, and then we stop. And that's our anchor pin. It's going to anchor that match point in place. We're going to take a second pin. This pin, you will go through the seam allowance, just through those two pieces of fabric, right next to the anchor pin, and then you can put it back through the block on the other side, and that will hold it and keep it from shifting by doing that. I'm going to do it again in a couple more places. We talked about our match point is also the satin stitch. So on the outside edge of the satin stitch, I'm going to place a pin right there. And you can see on the other side where that pin is. And then I'm going to put the pin on the outside of the satin stitch on the other block. And again, this is my anchor pin. It's sticking straight out. I'm going to leave it there and get the second pin and pin it right next to it. So I'm going to pin through the seam allowance, those two pieces of fabric, and then you can pin it back through the other block on the other side. Then you can take that anchor pin out and move to the next match point. And the next match point will be, again, right next to that satin stitch. And then right next to the satin stitch on the basting line on the next block. Okay, leave that pin in there. That's your anchor pin. And then the next pin can go through this two pieces of fabric, which will be your seam allowance. And then you can put it back through the block, and that keeps those two blocks from shifting. And one more spot right there on the corner. I'm going to just do a little adjustment here. I'm going to check it on this side, make sure I got the very corner of the basting stitches. And then I will do the same on the other block. Leave that in for my anchor pin. That looks like a hat pin. I don't know where that came from. And then I'm going to take another pin right next to it, put it through the seam allowance, and then back through the block, and I can remove my anchor pin. And I might want to put another pin in there just to make sure nothing moves, and so that those two basting stitches are lined up together. And then I'm going to take it to my machine. I'm going to use a walking foot, and I got a pin in here somewhere. You're going to sew right on that basting stitch. So with a walking foot, just find a neutral color thread that you can use, like a gray, or if you have all one color, you can choose that color. There's a, I guess there's mostly red on this one. So you might want to choose red or gray. And then you're sewing right directly on that basting stitch. Of course, taking the pins out before you get there. And that's how you would do the pinning. And then you have your blocks all sewn together. So when you have all your blocks sewn together in rows from left to right, then you can take each of the rows and you can begin sewing them together till you have all of it done and sewn together. I want to talk about pressing as well. We have vinyl in here. So I like to use steam. Sarah doesn't like to use steam. Honestly, I don't know if Linda uses steam or not, but I do use steam when I press my seams, but I have to turn my steam off when I'm getting near the vinyl because it will tend to begin to melt. That steam will start to melt it. It'll also fill the fabric on the back here full of moisture. So just something to be aware of. But I like to, when I press, this row here, I press my seams in. This row, I press them out and then in. So just alternate the direction that you're pressing your seams. And remember, you can use steam on any of them if you choose to, if that's what you like to do. But when you do get to the vinyl, on the windshield and also on the headlights, make sure that you turn your steam off on your iron. And then you just sew all these sections together. And then it's time to add your backing. So I'm going to remove these. We're going to pretend this is sewn together. Actually, I'll sew it together later. And we're going to use just the other one that's already finished just as an example. So the instructions tell you what size to cut your backing fabric. You're going to put it so your right side is down. Sorry, I happen to have a solid. So this is the wrong side. So you're going to put wrong side to wrong side on your little wall hanging. And I like to just, I press it, always and give it a little spray starch, make sure it's nice and starchy. And then just kind of press it out. You can tape it if you want to. I really do not think it's necessary because it is a smaller project. If it was a bigger project, I would definitely tape the backing fabric down to your mat. But once you get that done, then you're going to take some safety pins, and I didn't bring any here. And I usually just put one safety pin inside every block. I avoid the seams, and I avoid the seams because we're going to be stitching in the ditch. So you just get it pinned, and after that you can take it to the machine and you can choose a serpentine stitch. You can use a straight stitch if you want to, but the serpentine stitch is something that helps all these sections definitely lay nice and flat. So I'm going to kind of hopefully get it zoomed in so you can see the serpentine stitch there. So the serpentine stitch is just a little meandering stitch that goes back and forth, and it helps flatten the quilt so that when you're finished, it lays nice and flat.
It's really hard to see unless you point it out, which is a good thing, you guys.
Yeah, it is. It is a good. I'm trying to find maybe a more obvious spot. It's even more difficult to see there. Maybe this.
I think maybe right here.
Okay.
But then I also realized we should show that.
Yes, I was going to do that. So you can see here, you can see the serpentine stitch. So in the ditch, you're just going to do that meandering serpentine stitch all the way down each and every row. What Aubrey wanted me to point out to you is our most frequently asked questions is, why do you use water-soluble thread? Mm-hmm. Hopefully they can see that. But you can see some white thread right there. That is actually water-soluble thread.
And right here, I really saw it right there.
So you can see that water-soluble thread. So you would just get that wet, get a Q-tip and get it wet, and it will definitely dissolve. So hopefully you can see where the water-soluble thread is, and then the serpentine stitch. and you will be putting monofilament thread, a clear thread in the needle and also in the bobbin. And the bobbin, if you wanted to match your backing fabric, you could do that, but it's not entirely necessary. You can use the clear thread in the needle and the bobbin. And let me show you the back so you can see what the back would look like.
There you can really see.
There, now you can see what that serpentine stitch is like. And that just helps those blocks lay nice and flat. So, but that is all I have for you. After you would do that, of course, then you would trim your backing fabric up even with your quilt. And then you'd sew binding on it and a sleeve so you can hang it and you're all set.
Voila.
It's such a cute little trunk.
It is. Okay, so I saw a couple questions while you were doing your demo.
Okay.
And I know you know the answers to these. So the first one was, I have a 2.0 trimmer. Can I just use that?
Absolutely. Even if you have the original, you can just use that. The main difference in the 3.0 is that metal edge that you're probably very cautiously aware of not nicking it on anything, is that metal edge on the 3.0 is extremely sturdy. I have done some things to that I'm like, oh, and then I look at it and it's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
So it's just definitely a lot sturdier.
Yep, I love that about it. Someone also asked, why is it called the Trimmer by George?
Oh.
So I think we should share that story
Okay,
too.
that's a fun story. So years ago, we had a design. It was a double wedding ring design. We still have it today. It's probably one of our just go-to most popular designs that we have, just because it's so absolutely so easy to do. And it was, I'm trying to think, maybe it was one of the first projects we had where you had to trim that battleizer up to the basting stitch. Well, before our Trimmer by George, you had to use the scissors. So if you use the scissors, or if you try and pull the fabric back and use a rotary cutter and a ruler, you're going to end up nicking that fabric that needs to be your seam allowance.
And then you got to redo it.
Yeah. And so we had a sweet lady named Martha, and she tested our designs and she read our instructions to make sure that they made absolute sense and that we didn't have any misspellings, and she just checked everything. And George would sit right by her side and read things to her, and then she would go ahead and do what George said. Well, when she got to that trimming part of the Trimmer by George, we realized that there was a problem. And when you have to redo a block, you just want to move on. You don't want to do that. But George, it was a retired tool and die maker, and he saw the problem that she was encountering. He says, I have a solution for that. So he went out to his garage in his workshop, and he actually took a piece of gutter material and crimped the edge.
It did the trick.
It did the trick. Took it into Martha and said, here's what I think you need to do. And
they were so excited about it. They brought it to Linda in Illinois, her sister, the other hoop sister, and said, you guys need to sell this. We're going to make them. This is going to change the game. And they were not wrong. So.
Right. So the Trimmer by George is the inventor of that particular design, that particular awesome tool. And I'm telling you, you can use it on Hoop Sisters design, any design or anything where you want to remove the bulk of the seam allowance. So it's an awesome tool. We've just done some few updates. The 2.0, we added an acrylic ruler, and the 3.0, we made the metal edge a lot sturdier. So it's by George, in honor of George.
Yes. All right. So Lori asked, could you add this to a quilt? I'm assuming she means the whole design.
Add the whole design to
a
quilt?
Maybe she wants to put it in the middle of a quilt.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
think is what she's asking.
Sure.
Okay. And then I also saw this question here from Melissa. When you hoop the battleizer, do you pull it tight?
Well, I don't really pull it tight. And all hoops have a different way of hooping. The way that my hoop works is it has a piece of acrylic that is the size of the hoop and that you put down on top of the battleizer, and it puts it in exactly the right spot. You want it taut, but you don't want to stretch it. You just pull it so that it's not, it's not loose.
Okay.
So hopefully that answers. Pull a little bit, but don't stretch it.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to stretch anyway.
All right. And then Miss Donna asked, what is the smallest hoop that you can use to make this project? I've seen a couple of questions saying, I have a 6x10. Will it work? And unfortunately, it won't.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. Most of our 3-block wall hangings require a minimum 7-inch sewing field, 7 inches wide, with the exception of our snowman, which is an 8-inch. So hopefully you have something a little bigger than your 6x10 hoop. If not, I'll bet your sewing machine dealer could hook you
right?
up.
Oh, Jackie, you need to try it. She said I have it, but haven't had the nerve to try it, the double wedding ring.
Oh,
So-
my. I think we need to do a live on double wedding
Sarah
ring.
and I have plans coming up.
Yes, because it's the easiest double wedding ring either. It's basically strip piecing, applique it down, add the backing, do the quilting, and then on to the next.
So
Great.
from what I hear, it's like the easiest way to do
It
a double
is.
wedding ring.
It is. I've
All right.
tried a couple different ways. I'm like,
So stay tuned for the double wedding ring because Sarah and I have
Yeah.
a plan. And then what wide binding? I'm thinking what width is the binding?
okay.
In fact, we should show, we actually have marks specifically for that on the trimmer. So you will be able, let me make
Getting a
sure.
lot of glare
Yeah.
there.
So right there
That's
is
it.
the binding and there's the sashing mark.
Yep. The binding that we have marked on the Trimmer by George ruler is at 2.5 inches. And the sashing, of course, we advise you to cut it 1.5 inches. But on this project, you don't have to worry about sashing because it's just a one-piece backing. That'll bring up more questions than answers.
Way to go.
I know.
And then Paulette said the 3 is her favorite, much sturdier.
Oh,
She's talking
yeah.
about the trimmer.
Yes.
And I agree. It's awesome. All right. I'm just trying to make sure that we got all the questions answered.
Sure.
So let's answer this for Lori. I think Lori said she was new. What is the battleizer? And maybe we can here.
Yeah.
We got it right behind
We
us.
do. I'm going to grab a little piece, which is around the corner
There's
here.
some right here is the little
Oh,
piece.
Okay.
So if I don't know if you want to hold it up here or show it there.
Okay. So battleizer is basically, it's batting. It's our special batting that we use for our Hoop Sisters designs, and you can use for anything that's going to be in the hoop design. You can see how nice and thin and easy it is to hoop, but it also has your stabilizer in there. So it's your batting and stabilizer combination. So you only need to buy the one product. You don't need to buy two. And if you would use other batting along with a stabilizer, you're going to end up having something that's really super stiff and crispy. But with the battleizer, it definitely drapes really nice. And it's just one product.
You don't have to
buy
add
two.
stabilizer. So
And
that's
if you
great.
ever tried to hoop 2 or 3 things at once, it's like frustrating.
Okay. Yes, someone asked if these are recorded. Yes, my dear, they are recorded. In fact, if you registered, we do send out an email that has them, but they also live in our Facebook group as well as YouTube Live. We're actually live on YouTube right now too. So you can find the replay lots of different places. Size of the truck when complete. I'm going to pop this one up. So it's approximately 14 inches by I think 27. In fact, you guys, Trish, thank you, because you just reminded me. I do want to pull up some slides real quick before we do the giveaway. And I'll run through some information on there. And part of that is actually the sizing. So I'll do that right now.
And you mentioned registering. They get a free gift for that. We'll have to remember that too.
Yeah. So we do have there's local quilt shops throughout the US and Canada who have ordered this and do have it in stock. So here is the first list of them. So if you are anywhere, if you guys are near these shops, shout them out in the comments and let us know. And make sure to contact them. We do have an offer that I'll share with you that has limited time pricing, also has a bonus, and we did have a free gift for registration. The shops know about all that and have it, so you can definitely contact them. And then here's the next page of shops, and lots of our favorites are on here, so go support them for sure. Oh, and A&A White, yes, A&A White in Florida is not in my list. Oh wait, yeah, they
Yes,
are.
it is.
A&A
Right
White,
there. Yep.
someone said in the comments, yes, A&A White in Florida. They just had we do Facebook parties for shops, and they hosted it for their customers, and they had a blast. So
Maybe she took part in that.
well, she definitely is getting some of these. So if she doesn't have them now, I know that they're on the way. So just make sure to support your local quilt shop for sure. And I've seen Alpine. Somebody mentioned Alpine in the comments. They're giving them a shout out, and So Nice in Upper Sandusky. So you guys have some shops near you. That's super cool. So definitely make sure to get a hold of them if you're interested in getting this. There's the sizing information right there. The approximate finish size is 14 inches by 27 inches. So I saw yesterday someone was like, this would look really good on my front door.
It would.
So
It's definitely a good front door entry type size. I love the size.
Oh, and Nina, yes, thank you for pointing that out. Heather Bell Sewing Studio just got this yesterday. I saw the order come through. So add them to your list. They are in Canada. Okay. I want to say Ontario. Nina, you can correct me if I'm wrong. So if you're in Canada, there, add that one to your list. She always supports Hoop Sisters, so we want to make sure if you're up there, you support her too. So yes, 7 inches by 7 inches. You do need that to be your minimum hoop size to make this guy, and we definitely recommend pairing it with our Battleizer. So
that is a cute sample.
Yeah, so here's another colorway, right? We showed this yesterday. So cute. And I gotta say, this is the best deal. So I'm gonna tell you the best way to do this to save the most money and get the most out of it, but you can do whatever works for you. Our limited time pricing is expiring tonight at midnight. So that is going to be going away. So if you're on the fence at all, now is a great time to get this at the best price possible. So in order to get that best price possible, you're just going to want to add the design to your cart. You can get the USB or the download. And then you're also going to want to add 5 yards of the Battleizer to your cart. And what it's going to do, it's automatically going to take 10% off. You do not need a coupon code, which I think is fantastic.
That is awesome.
So it'll do it absolutely automatically. The next thing that's going to happen automatically is it's going to pop the bonus in your cart for free. Ooh. So you don't have to go find that or anything. So I think that's really cool too. So you would just add those 2 things to your cart. You automatically get the 10% off, automatically get the bonus, but only tonight through midnight. Thank goodness it takes it off automatically, because I will be in bed. We showed this yesterday too, and in fact, we should hold it up so you can see. It's the cutest, teeny weeniest little Christmas box. We said perfect for earrings. Mm-hmm. Someone asked yesterday if it would fit a tea bag, and it does. Nina is the queen of drinking tea. I'm the coffee drinker. She brought a little tea bag in here, and it fit perfectly. So this is something that will be on the website tomorrow for $15, but you're going to get it absolutely free when you get the Classic Christmas and the 5 yards of Battleizer, okay? The next thing I want to mention is, let's pretend this project isn't something you want to do, which is crazy because it's super duper cute. But let's say you had something else that you have been eyeing, but you kind of also want the bonus. So the other way that you could go about this is just put $68 worth of Hoop Sisters items in your cart by end of day today, midnight tonight. It will automatically pop this bonus in for you, okay? Nice. So the only thing you can get 10% off of is Classic Christmas paired with 5 yards of Battleizer, but the bonus will go in any order over $68, okay?
This bonus is so cute and petite. I think it would make an adorable Christmas ornament as well.
Oh, it really would. Yeah. That's cute. I'm going to pop this comment up. Joan says, I love that it's done automatically. It makes life easier. Well, we got to thank Sarah. She figured that out. I was like, I don't know how to do that. So I think that's really cool too. All right. Front door is a great idea. I agree. I think it's super duper cute. Okay. And then this was the free gift. We also showed you this yesterday. So why don't you talk about the 2 different versions of this?
Okay. The free gift is basically, you're going to get an applique, which you see on the left, or if you'd rather have an embroidered version, there's just stitching and embroidered version over on the right. So you will get both of those. And that's your free gift for registering for this event. Are they still able to register if they just happen to pop?
No.
Oh.
I'm just so mean, I know.
Uh,
No, the registration is closed. You had to act
Gotta be on your
fast.
toes.
You had a week to do it, but no, the free gift is just for those who registered. I did see in the comments somebody mentioned that they ordered yesterday. They now want the Battleizer. If that's something that sounds like you've got going on, like maybe you placed an order yesterday, but it didn't turn out quite to be what you want to add something or whatever. You can reach Nina at the phone number and email below, and she will help you out. I always love this because we do these lives, and the minute we get off, it's like the phone starts ringing like crazy. But she's all over it, and she will help you. So just make sure that you get a hold of us. It's so much easier when you contact us in person, so we can get you taken care of. Yes, if you have a $25 store credit, you can use it on your purchase. And if you have any problems with that, contact Nina. But you can just do that right at the checkout, okay? All right. So I think we got it all. But if you guys have any questions,
Except a giveaway.
except the gift.
I gotta keep on her all the time.
What is wrong with me? I'm gonna pop this up real quick, and then I will do the giveaway, okay? So this is your last chance. Type the word trimmer. I'm really glad you remember that. And we're doing $40. So
Wow.
just between the 2 days, we're giving away $80 in store credit.
That's like the design for free plus $5
No
off something
kidding.
else. So.
By the way, pictures are great, but it's so good to hold this kind of stuff up in person. How precious is this?
Grab me a napkin and I'll show them the
Aw.
napkin too. You have a little note in there.
Yeah, and here was the embroideries.
Here's the embroidered napkins. And then I'm short, but on my apron, I have the applique.
There you go. All right. Well, I think we will jump into this giveaway, and then that's all we got for you today. But I think it's really nice that we do the workshop the way that we are, because I think most people get intimidated by the trimming and joining, and we just make it so easy, you guys. So jump in, give it a try.
It is easy. Just do it.
Okay, I'm gonna do the giveaway. Share my screen and get us a winner. All right, here we go. We need like a drum roll or something. Slowing down.
Oh, Keith and Connie Morris.
Yay.
I don't know if it's Keith or Connie watching, but you're a winner.
So congratulations. Now here's what you're going to want to do. Excuse me. You, Keith or Connie, whoever was the one watching, go ahead and email Nina at hoopsisters.com. And what she will let her know that I'm going to pop her info up there. Let her know that you won $40 in store credit. She will pop that into your online account, and then you can purchase whatever you'd like from our website and get $40 off of it, which is pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
Usually we do like 10, so 40 for the
10 or 25, but
yeah.
40. That's awesome.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And for those of you who have already placed your orders, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
We love seeing those roll in, and we're super excited when we get to box everything up. Well, we don't, but in Illinois, they're boxing it all up and getting it out the door quickly. So we appreciate you all. And I think that's it. That's a wrap on Classic Christmas.
That is. So we hope you enjoy it, and post your finished pictures on Facebook. We'd love to see them. All right. See you next time.